Hello there everybody, this is Graham, also known as the Collector75, and welcome to my edition of the B.Y.O.C challenge. And of course the B.Y.O.C challenge is of course bring your own custom. And I was tagged, I was actually tagged by two people. First from M from Transformers and Video Games, and I was again tagged by Jason, TFR Wilderness. Yeah, so that's quite normal, being tagged by two people, which is kind of cool. Anyway, right, so now then, there's a couple of rules for this challenge that I can't remember exactly what order they're going, but they can't be a knockoff. They can't be a third party either. They've got to be an original figure that was made by Hasbro or Takara. And of course, you can't have bought it from somewhere. You've had to have done this yourself. Now then, so my customs are these two here. Now, they're kind of the same because I've done them at the same time. That's why I want to show them. I've actually showed these before, but this time I'm actually going to show them in their robot modes as well. And I'm going to explain how I did it. I'm not going to show the transformation because I've got to be careful when I transform them. But anyway, right, so these are my two customs. This is a Customs Generations Slicer car that I made. I think this is the first one that I attempted, and I actually was really pleased with how this turned out. Slicer, of course, was a European Action Master exclusive. He never received any other toy apart from that Action Master, and I felt that, considering how this mold was then used for Wheeljack in the Generations line, I thought this has been a cool mode, and I wanted to do a blue car. But obviously, I was a bit stuck finding a blue version. Of course, the first version that came out was this, which was the Generation or Reveal the Shield Tracks. Now, I actually took that sticker off and just replaced it with the normal Autobot logo there. Now, so obviously we had a blue car, which was great as the base unit, and probably allowed me to actually make this figure, because if I had to have got, say, a Wheeljack and painted it blue, that would have been horrible. I wouldn't have looked forward to doing that. So we had the blue car. The first problem I had was these flame details, because obviously these are, I don't know what they call it, tamographed, I don't know, well, printed on basically, trying to get them off. I spent a couple of hours in the garden with some white spirit or rubbing alcohol, whatever you will, painstakingly rubbing until it came off. It took me a while. I had to be careful not to get it on this clear plastic because white spirit can actually warp it and melt it, which a long time ago I used to have fun doing that, dropping plastic in white spirit and just watching it weirdly melt. It's kind of sort of soothing, really. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so yeah, so I got all that off, but I did have a bit of a problem getting the paint off these bits, the inside grill bits, because obviously these are moulded in detail. And I couldn't get in there enough to rub the paint off. So I was a bit stuck there. But luckily, what I did, oh, look at that, I moved it onto there. Actually, I took it off. Look at that, I put it in there. Didn't realise that. Anyway, right, so that was it for him, really. Don't need to show him too much anymore. So we're going to move on to this figure. So I then just basically figured that the black lines that I was going to put on him would be covered up in those, so I could just paint over them. So that was no problem. Now, when I come to this, obviously I had a different problem on this version, but we'll come to that in a minute. Yeah, so then it came to mapping out where I wanted the orange lines to go. That was a bit of a nightmare. I had to use a ruler to measure out exact sort of like measurements to get, because obviously there's a split down the middle where he turns into his legs and everything. And then I used, there probably was a better way of going, but I just used my trusty sellotape. I just got a bit off, stuck it down roughly where I was. Yeah, I would have probably just stuck it down. Like I would have put it here in the centre here, because obviously where there's no paint. And then I probably used, I was very, very careful with a scalpel knife, don't have one to hand, and we'll just cut it basically, and then eventually I've done this, but getting this little line, because obviously the little blue line here is where I needed the sellotape to be, so I had to cut with a knife all around there, and I had to get that exactly the same size as the line on this side. That was a bit of a nightmare. Then I put sellotape all around here, and like so. Once I'd done that, the next process, and I had to do that all around the car for every bit. What I would do next is then I would get another bit of sellotape, then I would attach it. Now, I always had to do this in sections. So the first section I did was a big bit along here, so I could do the orange. Then when I finished the orange, I just simply removed it. Like I said, had to measure exact, it was hard, and then put another bit of sellotape just, where did I put it? I put a bit here going this way, which was incredibly hard. I'm not going to lie to you, I can't even remember how I did it properly now. I had to do a bit going this way and a bit going this way from here. And then what I would simply do is I'll get a plastic bag. Now, I would cut out a hole, probably a bit bigger than this hole. This is just a demonstration model. And then roughly where it was, I would put this roughly around it, put another bit of sellotape on here from this bit, and I'll just sellotape that onto it, and that onto there. And that is how I do it. And then you were just left with this section here, basically. And that is it. Then I would just get my grey primer first, spray it, let it dry, then go over with the black coat, and the same with the orange. Now, the orange was even more difficult. Oh, then it came to peeling it off. I had to be so careful because obviously you could peel it off and then just pull off the paint. So I can't remember what I'd done. I probably put a hand down, something down on that paint. So as I peeled it off, or I may have run my scalpel just down the paint once it had dried, just to try and make sure that it didn't attach itself to it, something like that. And pull it off. And that was it basically for that. I can't remember if I put a coat on, like a varnish coat, I can't remember. But this orange was a nightmare. I had to do about 4, 5, 6 coats because it was like a neon orange colour that I'd got. But it was so thin, it was unbelievable, yeah. So I had to do loads of coats to get that. Like, as you can see, it's a bit more brighter here than it is there. Not sure exactly why that was. Also here, I don't know if you can tell, there's a bit of a blemish. Hard to actually show. There's a bit of a blemish just there. And on here, that's where I had some tape here, but the paint ran under the tape. Same here on the back here. You can see these 2 little black stickers I had to put on. I can't remember what side, but all the paint had run down. I couldn't get the paint off. So I cut out this, I think it's a bit of black insulation tape actually, just to go over it. But then I had to do one on the other side just to make it look even. Now, what really I probably should have done is got a whole bit and covered the whole thing in black insulation tape, giving it a new black back window really, rather than that. But I'd done that and then I couldn't be bothered to change it. So there we go. Again, on the wheels, I just went straight over with some sellotape. Once I'd done that, I carefully went round with a scalpel all round the rim. So just leaving the rim. I'd already taken this apart as well. I forgot to mention that. So it was in bits as well. So that made it a hell of a lot easier. And that was it again. And then I just grey primed it and black went over the wheels. I actually prefer the wheels on this one in black, which is kind of cool. Anyway, right, so that was it for him. Now, the stickers I sort of made myself. I had some Repro labels. I just, on the underside of the Repro label, I sprayed orange just to give them a bit of a different look. This is one I made myself using those weird transfer sort of letters you can get. You can rub them on stuff and stuff. So I just rubbed them on the other side of some clear Repro label to come out like that. And then another sheet, I used some orange paint again. I had to stick that to it, and then with some double-sided tape this time. So there's about 3 layers there, I think, with the orange to stick that onto the car, which it did turn out pretty all right, actually. And anyway, so that was him. Now, with this guy, it was basically the same. But on this one, I had to, I don't know if I sprayed it. I think I painted this bit in the end. I usually use spray because then you don't get the brush marks. I had some old Repro labels when they used to do a set for the Mulbar Wheeljack that they used to do, the LG one. I bought 2 sets, and it's amazing how that one came in very handy. Or did I get another set off eBay? A different seller, weren't Repro labels, so it was a bit weird. I think I used that for this one. This one, again, I had the same problem because I used a Wheeljack mould for this one. Now, I had to, again, I couldn't get this paint off the insides of these, so that's why I sprayed them. You can't really see it, actually. I sprayed them silver paint, and you can see it comes out pretty good in there. Again, the wheels, it's done them red and everything like that. This one, now the back, I just sprayed all red, and then I put some insulation tape and just cut them out to make it look like it's got that slatted effect on the rear window here, because the real world car of Mulbar, Wheeljack, wherever he is, Lancer, Delta, whatever he is, he had that on the back. So I thought I'd replicate that there, and that was about it. Now, on the inside of the windows, you can see this one is blue. I've just got some blue translucent paint and just literally painted the inside of the windows, and it's a great effect. This one, actually, I painted orange on the inside of the windows. You can't really tell because it was very dark in there, but I painted that one orange, and it turned out amazingly well. Then I actually did some extra bits for Slicer here. That was about it for him over there. And I made these. This is some modelling plastic that I bought from a modelling sort of website. Because obviously the original Slicer came with that exosuit that was like great. Had those sort of like, I can't remember, like swords hanging off the wheels, a bit like, was it B.O.C with a chariot and everything. So I thought I'd replicate that. So I made these. Now I had a problem attaching it. How was I going to attach it? So what I figured out was I'd create this little bit. As you can see, it's like a little extra prong. And if you get it in the right wheel, I don't know which wheel it is. Now, it always sometimes has a bit of problems. Sometimes it's good. And it just stays there in the wheel. And you can see that it stays there like that. You've got to get it. Sometimes they fall out. Sometimes they don't. So you can get them in the wheels here, and it will stay there in the wheels, and then you can drive them along, providing the wheels want to touch on the feet, and that one's just falling out. But you can see how well that goes. And I thought that was a great effect, homage in his Action Master exosuit, and it was the easiest way I could think of to get the buggers to stay in. Except this one, or one of them, is a bit problematic. But there we go. There we go. There's that one running, and you can sort of see them both running now. If I can get my hands out of the way. There we go. And so that was quite good. I quite like that. And again, it will homage that again in robot mode. And then I found on Shapeways, I'm going droning on a bit here. I found this was like a Target Master. So I know it said not to use third-party stuff, but I want to show this off because I liked it. Needs some work. I started to paint it up with some silver paint. Didn't really go too well. I really want to redo this. I'm going to paint these up sort of red, like a proper chainsaw. Yeah, it's like a chainsaw Target Master. Quite cool, because it does transform into a little robot. But he's a very, very delicate. He's all on these weird little ball joints, but it's all like 3D printed, and that just goes back there. And he's got these little arms. If you can barely turn them, I don't want to turn them because I'll break them off. And he's like a little Target Master robot. I love him. Yeah, and that's all I did to him. But I'm going to redo that. I might try and rub him down because he's really grainy. But he's quite cool. I'm going to put him to the side. Right, I'm going to transform these into robot mode, and then I'll be back in a moment. Right, so here we both have them now in robot mode, and this is probably one of the first times that I've actually shown these guys in robot mode, mainly because that transformation, I'm not a massive fan with it. But there we go. Anyway, right, so I'm going to show these off as best I can. We'll come to Slicer last. We'll just move him back, providing he don't fall down. And then we'll come to Maulball, Wheeljack, or Exhaust, or whatever you want to call him, first of all. And as you can see, this is his robot mode. Now, he looks more impressive in car mode, if you want my opinion. But then again, that is, I don't think through no fault of mine. It's just the way the colours fall in robot mode from where they were in car mode. And just this mode, you can see this sort of model or mould really of the Wheeljack. It's a great mould, don't get me wrong, but it does have a few minor issues, doesn't it? It does look a bit of a car crash in some respects. It's still a great toy. It's great. I love the transformation. It is just not a bit involved for me. Just too many panels, and if you don't line them up, you can't get the next one in, and so forth. But you know, it's still okay. It just looks there's bits of car everywhere, which I suppose I don't mind in some respects, but it just looks like you've got this windshield panel just hanging there. It just looks a bit out of place, but you know. Other than that though, there we go. This is Maulball Wheeljack in robot mode. Now the head sculpt, I don't know if I have the original head sculpt that I actually made for this figure. This is one I got off eBay. And apparently it was given away. I'm going to zoom in on this head sculpt here. Here we go. And as you can see, it's a bit of a mess. I got this off eBay, and it was originally given away at an auto assembly, I think. And I don't know if the guy had tried painting it before I got to it, but it looks like it's got a mixture of blue and silvery stuff in there. So what I might do is I might go over this, or at least the visor anyway, in my silver chrome pen and just bring that out a bit more, but then leave the weathered face, a bit like Judge Dredd, isn't he? Sort of look about him there and leave that. So anyway, I'm going to put him over there now. I'm going to see if I can find my original head. Now this is it. This is what I've got here. It's in the style of an old cigarette packet, which is kind of cool in a way. So here we go. Look at this. Warning, collecting Transforming Robots toys will seriously damage your wallet. And yes, it bloody does. Oh, here we go. It was a given away at Auto Assembly 2012. Make sure the old camera can pick that up. A bit of a glare on it there. Let's have a look. You could have a gold or silver one, I think. I'm not quite sure why. But it looked like the picture on there is gold sort of face. That was it. Look what you got in there. Now, I don't know if my original face is going to be in here that I made, which was quite a travesty to modelling, if you want my opinion. This is it here. Now, I'm going to zoom in on this, but you'll probably regret it. Yeah, we'll zoom in on this. Let's see if I can. It might be a bit too close for what it is. Come on, zoom in, you bagger. There we go. I can't remember whose head this was originally. I think it was a Trax head. I made this weird visor bit, a bit like obviously trying to replicate the Marlboro Wheeljack head. But it ends up being more like a pair of Timmy Mallet glasses. Yeah. If you don't know who Timmy Mallet is, he was a dodgy children's TV presenter who used to wear the most awful glasses. Yeah, just in-your-face glasses. And then I'd done these little bits out of modelling plastic as well and tried gluing them to the head. They were okay, but I did have trouble getting them exactly the same size and everything. But it was okay and as an attempt. But then when I found that was a much better replacement. Anyway, I keep it now just for old time's sake. Well, that was a good shot, wasn't it? Yeah, so I keep that for that. Anyway, right, so we're going to pop that back in here quickly. And then we'll move on to the next figure. Right, so the next one. So that was Slicer out of the way. Then we're going to move to Slicer. Now, this is Slicer. Now, I do like Slicer in his robot mode here. It is really good. Obviously, that is a Wheeljack head that I had to put on the tracks. So it's quite cool, actually, because I bought the Wheeljack to make him, but I needed the head for this guy, which kind of worked out pretty good, especially because how much those Wheeljack toys were going for as well. I think I got mine for like £17 or something like that. It's pretty cheap now. So then I had to paint bits on it gold to replicate the Action Master head, and did some other gold paint here and there. And then again, as I said earlier, the Bodicea-esque chariot blade things actually go nicely on his arms, replicating his Action Master exosuit. And then this is his chainsaw, which I've only just, the first time I've ever put in his hand. I found out it won't hold him on the top of the hand because of where the hands are moulded, but it will hold it under his arm, which is kind of gives him that Space Marine chain arm look. I can't remember what they called it now, which is kind of cool because that does look good under there. And actually looks good in black now, so I might keep it in black because it looks a bit like his arm colour, which is kind of cool. So there is Action Master, or rather my generation's custom Slicer figure, which I do like, which I would like to have shown off at this year's Auto Assembly actually, but it wasn't until the last minute I actually knew I was going, so it was a bit late by then. But I do like it. So there we go. That is my take on Bring Your Own Custom. I hope you enjoyed it and it lives up to everybody else's everybody else's expectations and their videos and everything. Right, I've probably droned on way too long, to be honest. I was thinking of doing this guy. This is a repro labelled up Alternators Jazz, but I want to show him off in another video that I'm going to be doing soon. And there is a reason behind this guy. But all I did really on this guy was just put the repro labels on. It's just, I mean, I've shown these guys off a few times before, but these are the ones I'm most proudest of and spent the most time on and everything, and actually finished them. When I actually finished those and put them back together, put the screws in and everything, finally finished it. Proudest moment of my life, almost, apart from when my son was born, obviously. It's just so much satisfaction doing something like that, setting out, having a vision, going through with it, all the things, and then finally coming up with something that, in the end, you're actually proud of, apart from that dodgy, bloody Marlboro Wheeljack head I made. That was the worst bit. Anyway, saying that, I was supposed to tag 3 other people. Now, this is the problem. You try and think of people. You could tag 1,000 people, but whether they make customs or not, or attempt it, you don't always know. So I am going to tag. I'm going to tag Zort Rider because I think he's done something. I'm sure it is. Who else can I tag? Oh my god! I don't know. I'm going to tag. I don't know if he's going to be watching this, but I'm going to tag Junk Heap Dave because I like some of the stuff that's on his shelves, and some of those shelves that he made actually look pretty cool. Now, who else? God, it's just hard, isn't it? It's just, you want to tag someone that does something, at least you think you do. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to throw that last tag out to anybody who makes customs. Make a video and say you were tagged in this video, because it's so hard. And I think sometimes when you don't tag people, you think, oh, I wish I'd been tagged for that, so you can make the video. But you can always make the video anyway, can't you? But yeah, so that last tag goes out to anybody. Right, this has been Graham, the Collector 75. Hope you liked the video, and I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.